Hi everyone! In today's video we're going to be talking about the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. So, the Van Gogh Museum opened in June 2nd of 1973 and it has the largest collection of artwork from Vincent van Gogh. There are a lot of paintings, a lot of drawings, a lot of studies he did for his later artworks, some watercolors he may have done in the past, but something really cool and interesting are letters. Letters he wrote to his family, to his brother Theo, to his friends, to his love interest at the time. A lot of letters that just expressed how he felt. And in those letters, there are also some sketches that he liked to draw to explain his ideas to his brother. Well, now we know that there's a museum about this guy named Vincent, but who exactly was he? So, Vincent van Gogh was a post-impressionist painter, and his style was very important for the influence of Western art history. Vincent worked with oil paint, both natural and synthetic pigments, and he had a really unique style. He was most characterized by using bold and very noticeable colors. His brushwork was dramatic, impulsive, and very expressive. Because of this, he suffered a lot in poverty and depression and hard times. So in the end, when he was 37, he decided to kill himself. He shot himself in the chest and died 2 days later with his brother by his bedside. So now that we know who Vincent van Gogh was, let's talk about the museum. So basically, it can be divided in two parts: the Rietveld building and the Kurokawa wing. The first one is a main structure and has a permanent collection. It's a rectangular 4-story high building. On the ground floor are a shop, a cafe, and an introductory exhibition. The first floor shows the works of Van Gogh grouped chronologically. The second floor gives information about the restoration of paintings and has a space for minor and temporary exhibitions. And the third floor shows paintings of Van Gogh's contemporaries in relationship to the work of Van Gogh himself. Now, we know that he liked to paint and had very famous paintings, but do we know the stories behind some of them? Let's go take a look. This one, it's called Quinces, Lemons, Pears, and Grapes, and it was to his brother Theo. It was a way of saying thank you to him, and he painted it with bright colors because his brother was always telling him to draw something fresher, that it was easier to sell. This one here, it's called the Potato Eaters. He deliberately chose a difficult composition to prove he was on his way to becoming a good figure painter. He had to depict the harsh reality of country life, so he gave the peasants coarse faces and bony working hands. He wanted to show in his way that they have tilled the earth themselves with these hands they are putting in the dish, that they have thus honestly earned their food. The message of the painting was more important to Van Gogh than correct anatomy or technical perfection. He was very pleased with the result. Yet, this painting drew considerable criticism because its colors were so dark and the figures were full of mistakes. Nowadays, The Potato Eaters is one of Van Gogh's most famous works.
Let's take a look at some other of his artworks, shall we? Self-Portrait with Grey Felt Hat, made by Vincent van Gogh between September and October of 1887, oil on canvas. This is one of Van Gogh's many portraits. He used portrait painting as a method of introspection and as a way of developing his skills as an artist. They were also portraits because he didn't have money to pay for a model. He made over 30 portraits. Van Gogh painted this self-portrait during the winter of 1887 when he had been living in Paris for nearly 2 years. Since his arrival in the city, he dedicated much time to the study of dotted pointillism technique. Though the technique used here cannot be exactly called pointillism, it's more like Van Gogh's own style of it. The painting is also one of the boldest color experiments in Paris. The red pigment has faded, so the purple strokes are now blue. As a result, the contrast with yellow is less powerful. Sunflowers by Vincent van Gogh. made in January 1899, oil on canvas. His fellow painters thought that some flowers were perhaps somewhat coarse and unrefined, but this is exactly what he liked. Some flower paintings had a special significance for Van Gogh. They communicated gratitude, he once wrote. He painted a total of 5 large canvases with some flowers in a vase, plus 2 not so other famous colors. But unfortunately, one was lost during World War II. He started painting flowers to experiment with color. Flower paintings also sold well, which was another reason to paint them. The versions of this painting are made in different shades of yellow. In this way, he demonstrated that it was possible to create an image with numerous variations of single color without any loss of eloquence. Bridge in the Rain after Hiroshige by Vincent van Gogh, made between October and November of 1887, oil on canvas. Van Gogh greatly admired Japanese woodcuts for their bright colors and distinctive compositions. He often wrote about Japan in his letters. It became clear that Japan held a magical, mystical significance for him. In his imagination, this was a land of grace and well-being, a blessed utopia. He based this painting on a print by the famous artist Utagawa Hiroshige. However, Van Gogh's version has more intense colors than the original. Van Gogh and Japan is a major exhibition full of important international loans at the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, a compilation of works from this far eastern country that Van Gogh seemed to idealize, a country that he never visited and which he never made plans to travel to, but still exerted a great hold over his imagination, which is clearly seen in the way it influenced his art.
And we know that during his life, his work wasn't really very successful. But now his paintings have been ones that have been sold the most expensive. And there's even a museum in his honor, so he died, but his painting didn't.